We are live. So I'll say indeed and greetings unto you, beloved and holy friend. I thank you for joining me once again on another conscious evolution. Today's whole stream topic is about energy. Specifically, this realization that energy cannot be destroyed or created, and that everything is essentially energy, right? The fact of your molecules staying together is because of energy. If you didn't have energy between your little electron bonds, you would just disintegrate into your constituents. But no, you hold the energy that is yourself. And if that energy is something, then surely it continues, all right? As in, you cannot die because you are energy. And that's not me challenging you, being like, oh yeah, you think you can die? Try. No, no. It's more kind of like a means to kind of remind ourselves that there are more things to be alarmed by than there are things to be harmed by, right? And as such, we suffer more in mind than we do in actuality. It's nice having you friends here with me. Blessings. Let's read something worth saying. I didn't take this little bookie with me, so I feel like it's been neglected a little bit. Let me see if you know what. I don't think this is gonna do much right now. I see Connor, and I see Shan and Joy Vive and Kristen, even Gateways joining. I'm not missing anybody. Hello, Zana. There you too. Sam, sending you lovin's. Morning, dear ones. Missed you guys this morning at yoga. I'm feeling really under the weather. Let's imagine Kristen feeling great, being able to breathe properly, all functions nominal, unencumbered by the bodily energies, right? Technically, a virus is an energy as well, right? Because that virus in its mind is just trying to live, being like, oh, yeah, my purpose is to infect other cells and trick them into producing more of me. And then we end up suffering, right? I read this article yesterday talking about, it was like on Reddit's Futurology. I think it was Futurology or something like that. Technically, just talking about how war is something that we justify by telling ourselves that we are trying to protect our people against the other. Right? Oh, yeah, those others are so dangerous. They're going to come and kill us. But really, the real war, every single person on earth has been fighting. The real thing that we are actually in danger of is disease or malfunction when it comes to our organs, right? And we are, unironically, figuring out how to now manipulate those energies in a way we've never been able to before. So is it possible for us to, as a collective humanity, kind of put our attention on fighting the war against viruses, fighting the war against poor quality of life, instead of fighting the war against ourselves, right? Because I don't know, that energy is great. I don't think I've ever heard people being like, wow, war! I love being in a tank. Hearing bullets whiz by my head, so great. No, no, that's not an energy any one of us want to participate within. So I hope you, I'm sure you will actually, Kristen, that you will win this war against this thing that's making you feel under the weather. Sending you lovins. Lovins again to you, Connor. Feel better, Kristen. Thank you, Joy, for sending that loving energies. Thank you, Shad, for doing the same. That's a terrible thought. I don't want to disintegrate. I mean, Joy, you're not disintegrating, right? I do believe that we hold a certain like fractal pattern energy, right, as these physical forms that we call the body. That it's so many energies, right? 30 to 60 trillion cells collectively occupying different states of energy, occupying different functions in the body, and all of them collaboratively working so that you can have this moment right now. Sorry for yikesing you out. I'm sorry. Disintegrating, you know. I don't want to get Thanos snapped either. I don't know, that'd be fun. That was Anna sending lovin's to our friends. How's your last year going? Don't think about it like that, Joy. Think about it like eventually everything gets to sleep. Yeah, until it gets sick of that, right? Because technically, I don't know if you friends saw that new Kurzgesagt video about the dreamer. It basically goes into this understanding that in the ultimate entropic entropy, max entropy state of the universe, technically there can exist anything, right? Even simulations of brains. And you might, technically, is more likely be a simulated brain than you are a real one in a physical body, right? As in, uh, the odds of matter coming together in the way that they have for our physical bodies so that we can have this experience are exponentially lower than the odds of the eventual entropic state of the universe, having infinite amount of time collapsing into different models of consciousness generating you right now. And even despite, like which one is the real one, both of those are states of energy, right? So you remain an energetic being despite if we're in a simulation, right? If we're in some sort of uh, space prison, I've heard that fractal as well. If we're in some sort of alien experiment, no matter which fractal you kind of assign, which conspiracy theory you want to, believe, all of that are states of energy, right? And we are clearly processing something, listening to those little beetles in the trees screaming their little song, birdies chirping, the way the grass sounds when I rub my hands over it. Pippi has been so stoked to have me back home. She was losing her mind yesterday. I was trying to almost like speed run all of the attention. And it's energy, right? Like she missed my energy and I missed hers too. And we get to share that stuff with one another. This world ceaselessly imparts energy onto you. Now it's just a matter of how do you absorb it? How do we keep the energy we absorb? Realizing that the food we eat, the water that we drink, love, love, love you, the flower remedies we take. I was like taking my flower remedy that Shan gave me. And I was thinking about the fact that she literally put her soul's energy into this little bottle by, by inference, technically. And then as I was taking my drops, they tasted so sweet. Technically, there's no sugar in there, but they tasted so sweet with me very intrinsically and mindfully thinking about the energy that was put into it. So, yeah, absorb the energies, friends. This is technically a possibility for you to absorb some energy as well. Light molecules hitting your irises, sound waves, deforming your ears, putting binary signals into your brain. Energy, 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 energy. Duck Dad is here too. Sending you lovins, dude. Ciao Schmo. I see your name, bro. Even Dan. So much love to you, friends. Sorry, Virus. I don't want to be your home. Yeah, Virus, come on, oh. Come on, give me some space. My personal space. Doing well, been busy, 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 but I'm going to start my capstone animation project next semester. Definitely hit home that I'm almost done with this dumb shiz. Yeah, I had like some, I don't know, I don't call them nightmares. I, uncomfortable dreams the last, week. And one of them was getting schooled by a teacher. I was in school again, and this one teacher was just like the bane of my existence. I could not get behind the energy that she was projecting at me constantly. And it made me really dark, right? I was like, I'll tie your feet to a cinder block kind of, darkness. And I was like, bruh, waking up from that dream, like, I don't want to be like that, And then I was like trying to understand, infer what this dream was supposed to mean. And again, it was this energetic exchange, or at least a conceptualized, a fractal of life, at least to me, right? That life teaches us lessons. And those lessons can be kind of brutal sometimes. Sometimes it feels like life can be out to get you kind of vibe. And that level of another lesson, another thing, another stuff I did wrong, another, you know, pattern of growth that I have to embrace. It can make us really jaded and angry at life to the point where we want to, metaphorically speaking, tie a cinder block to our earth and, throw it in the river. Put oil in our rivers, put, toxic chemicals in our soils. And maybe that's me extrapolating too much information. I wouldn't be surprised, but I think like I sometimes have a hard time understanding why people don't have that love for the earth, right? Like that sense of awe looking at a tree. How can people like you? Some of your friends might have seen that 16-year-old who chopped down like an iconic 300-year-old tree. You know, it's like, how does that happen? And the only way that I can articulate to myself how that can happen is if there's that energy of hatred or anger towards the teacher, you know, Mama Gaia in that way. Kristen, there is an awesome episode of Curious George where he gets a virus. You have to watch it. I'll find it for you. I first saw it when my son was little. Curious George, the little monkey? I didn't even know there were episodes of it. I think I saw the original movie. Wow, Carter, that sounds cool. I know it's challenging, but it's awesome stuff that you're doing. Absolutely. Bro, you need to listen to Dick Cheney. That man loves war, Lamau. I mean, I'm guessing that that energy isn't common. I'm gonna hope at least. Is Simon here? Yeah, we were summoning you yesterday, Simon. Missed you guys. Was in counseling yesterday. Melt's back home. I am, for now, back home again. It is heavy. Weirdly enough, instantly I noticed coming back home, there is this energy of familiarity that then leads me to a sense of safety, that then leads me to a sense of grounding, that then makes me feel heavier than I usually am, right? I wonder how much of it is social context, how much of it is the information that I'm receiving, right? Like the trees, like that tree got cut again. And I don't like that energy, yo. I don't like it. It's bothering me, bro. I'm like, I am tripping myself out, but I'm choosing to absorb the energy of me caring so much about that tree can be seen as a good thing. Is this thing heating up? I brought my electronic vaporizer. That was a gift from Jem, woman in a van, all the way from the UK as well, actually. How about that, Simon? Okay, let me see some more comments. Do. Dan, I think Cheney should have a podcast. Cheney is in a whole country of fire, just so he should show off his new private sector military technology. Why, Connor? So we all can be horrified on a more regular basis. The kiddies miss you too, and I wanted to do yoga this morning. I'm happy that you did. Joy V have actually joined us for yoga this morning, and the kiddies have this way of like getting real close to me while I'm doing yoga. I believe, all right, like see the ego. I believe I'm outputting such great energy when I'm doing yoga that the kiddies are like basking in the glory. I'm happy that you were there joining us as well, getting to see the kiddies. Absolutely. I feel like it would have some Alex Jones energy, but for more colonialism. Good old Alex Jones. What a character that man is. Yeah. I'm trying to think if I would be able to have a meaningful conversation with him. My energy is for sure dead. If not dead, misdirected. I'm so very reactive. Duckling is incessant. My wife and I are at odds because both of us are at our limits. I can usually bounce back, but I have nothing. Let's just absorb that for a second. My intention is positive energy. Instantly, Dr. The thing that comes to my mind is this moment I had during yoga today, talking about the body again, right? This fact, and I'm saying fact very liberally, that you are exponentially more powerful than you think, right? That you literally have enough muscle strength to snap your own bones, but you don't because your brain limits that level of energy transfer, right? So I believe you, Doc Dad, completely, that you might feel at this point like you have nothing, but I don't think that is the reality, right? It might feel like reality right now. It might be your lived experience in this very moment, but I don't believe it will continue. I wish I could do more. I can't even imagine how difficult it must be to have a child, let alone try and start a business, let alone manage relationships with your loved one, your wife, let alone struggle with the current, economic structure, with the current difficulty and cost of living. All of these things do zap our energies, but we're here to love you nonetheless, Duck Dad. We care about you so much, Brother Bear. Take it one day at a time. The energy will come back. Oh my goodness, Joe Schmo saying, I've been trying to get a video of these absolute units that are these crows, the murder of crows. There are groups every day of at least 100. Sometimes they show up 300 strong. They're really jumpy though. 300 crows. Like, I don't know if you friends had this in your minds as well, but when when Joe Schmo was talking about these crows that he's trying to befriend, my mind was like thinking like 6 of them, like 12 maybe, hundreds to 300s of crows. That seems a little bit excessive, dude. I'm just imagining like they're like having conversations with one another, bro. Being like this Joe Schmo dude. Oh, he like gives us, pellets or whatever. Just like 300 of them rock up to your house. This energy talk is getting me so high. Sending you more energy, dear Shan. Joe, sometimes I just want to come to your swamp and tune out the world for the crows. What's stopping you, Dan? I want to say some shit, but I'm gonna say it because I think you would respect the energy I'm coming from. I'm like, Dan, come on, dude. You ain't got a job right now, bro. You got some savings left. Hit up Joe Schmo, mission down, go and live in the swamp a little bit. Keep applying for jobs, maybe do online interviews. If not, why not, bro? I think it will be good for you. They're getting used to me and letting me get closer to the group. So stay tuned. I'm just seeing Joe Schmo, right? Like maybe like taking some sort of old overall and then covering it in honey. I feel like that's more cursed, but let's do honey. I feel honey is going to be the least toxic, version of it. Like taking an old blanket and throwing a bunch of bird seeds over it and then just rolling himself in the honey and bird seed and then sitting super zen like in between the crows and them like eating the seeds off of him. Joe Schmo was like, that's 100% not what I'm going to do. I'm sorry, Joe Schmo, that's what I'm seeing, bro. That's the energy I'm feeling from this fractal right now. It sounds chill. It really does. Doug, maybe you need to go camping and get some time to yourself. That could be good. You should leave gifts for the crow friends, Joe. Don't they like shiny things? I probably think they do. I wonder why they like shiny things. Do they perceive value as shiny? Maybe from the perspective of there aren't many shiny things in base nature. So seeing something shiny means good, means value. I'm trying to put myself in the energy mindset of a crow right now. I don't know why, but instantly my mind went to mourning a lost one or a loved one. Yeah, crows. Been seeing many different bird fractals as of late as well, so this is taking me into a whole different energy. Dan, you are always welcome here. There we go. So far, they really like dog food. They do. Birds do like dog food. This I've learned as well. Who would have guessed a balanced diet of protein and carbohydrates and fats would be appealing to burbs, especially since they can then just swallow them whole. I just don't know what they do to the digestive tracts. Maybe the dryness of it could be a limitation since they might, eat insects for their protein mostly. Maybe Jo can let us know. Maybe she understands that energy. If I ever make it to the swamp, I'll bring weed. Yeah, Dan. Now I feel Joe Schmo wanting you to be there even more, Missed you guys, wasn't counseling yesterday. I'm sorry that counseling made you upset, bro. I'm happy that you have access to that resource as well. Mel's back home. Love again to you. That's so cool, Joe. They're gonna be your besties in no time. Crows like dog food. They do. All birds, chickens as well. Like our chickens, not bird food, dog food. Our chickens would literally raid our dog foods. We have like one of these like automatic feeder thingies. They're not that automatic. It's more uh, physics based. It's like a tapered bin that has like a bucket. So as the food gets eaten, you can refeed. And they'll literally just stand there and eat that thing empty. We had to condition them to be scared of the dogs to stay away. Good old burbs. Opportunistic creatures, right? They understand energy. Technically, we can think about it from that perspective, right? Because that's the way I try to think about the reason they like dog food. The amount of energy you have to exert to scrub for worms or to chase things in the air versus chilling on the ground and eating pellets that have more protein than the bugs you usually get to eat. I'd probably be stoked as well. Be like, this is easy energy. Give me. And maybe a beer brewing kit. That sounds fun. I haven't brewed beer myself, other than pineapple beer, but that's like saying I, grew grew a wheat plant when it was like a single pot, and I never did anything to it. I'm like making a bad example here. It was nice. It was nice to drink the pineapple beer, but I don't know if it was really beer making. I am very upset about that tree. Me too, Shell. Viscerally so. Part of me wants to chop down the person that chopped down that tree. And I'm like, oh, that's dark. Oh, isn't a person's life more valuable than a tree? And I'm like, bro, I don't know. Is it? Is it? 300-year-old tree, 16-year-old, right? At what point does the tree get to have priority? Technically, the kid got arrested, so it is illegal. He didn't just get away scot free with it. And I can't imagine he's going to live that down, right? People are going to probably have like a certain level of bad taste in their mouth around you if they know that that's what you did. But that's rough, yo. And I kind of experienced a fractal like that as well with Shan, her landlord chopping down a bunch of trees outside her home. I don't think they were 300 years old, but it's still that level of pain where there's a part of me that gets viscerally upset. Like absurdly so, Shell. I'm guessing you're there as well. The problem with no family and a kid, Joy, is that it puts the problems on the other person, and you get to come back and be told all the ways things were stressful while you were gone. Yeah. Duck Dad, I feel like a part of me that really understands you is from the part, like, understands you while at the same time doesn't know how to really help, because like that's the home I grew up in, right? That's literally my dad and my mom as well. And it's the same fractal where my mom was a stay-at-home mom. She took care of us as kids, 4 children, by herself, mostly, right? My dad would work big swaths. When he was working in Zimbabwe, there was an incentive for him to spend 160 days consecutively in another country for the tax benefits, right? So my dad was gone a wrong time. And then the same, right? When he comes back, it's the double fractal of both of them, right? Trying to share the energy of how much they had to sacrifice, how much they had to give, how uncomfortable things were. And the lesson that I learned from that is that's just how it is, right? You think you're melting? Oh, you think you're melting? Melt more. It's not gonna stop. Oh, the work, all the stress, all the stressful things we've been through. Oh yeah, more. Every day, more again. And I feel like being willing to accept that and understand that is so naive sometimes, especially when there are extrinsic factors, right? adding to the stress because I feel like it's a threshold thing, right? Like those are like the the spikes. Like we get super invested and verbal about those specifically because our base level of stress has been like so raised by like financial worries, bodily image fractals, the fractal of comparison to your peers, of how your life ought to be, right? Of the stress you believe you have because you don't have things that you believe will reduce your stress. So we have like more base level stress than we've ever really had in our lives. And now when a stressful event arises, it's like, it spikes and it hits that point of like maybe like overload or too much energy in the direction of stress, and then we burst out, right? And like all of that volume that we burst out with is all of that stress that's not technically our fault. And I'm saying technically because it's like we live in a society kind of thing. It's our fault, but it's like our fault on the billions scale, not so much our fault on the personal scale. And yet, the only way to figure out those problems is to start on the personal scale. It's contrived, but it's hard to explain that, to accept that, and to even upon knowing it, to do it well. I'm proud of you, Doc Dad, for being willing to show up despite these difficulties, for continuing to choose love. We love you so much, bro. Speaking of monkey, One Piece on Netflix is wonderful and has me smiling the whole time. Yes, this I agree with, right? I am I am one of those. That's an anime snob, right? I started watching anime when I was 14, so not technically that early, right? I did watch Dragon Ball Z with my dad when I was 6. I used to record the episodes on VHS tapes so that when he came back home, me and him could watch it together. But unfortunately, my mom believed it was satanic because, people screaming and then lighting on fire with cooler hair didn't sit well with her. To me, it was the coolest shiznit ever. I was like, this is rocking, but she didn't like it. So anime was a no go. And then I met with my then uncle's wife's children, and he showed me One Piece for the first time. Right? So my frame of reference to anime was basically Dragon Ball Z, right? Dudes screaming and powering up. Almost like a level of ridiculousness, right? But like an energy of personal power, and I feel like maybe a lot of teamwork, the teamwork of like people supporting one another, right? Providing energy towards this shared goal. And then he showed me One Piece with these over the top fight scenes and absolutely ridiculous weapons and, like transformations with weapons, weapon based transformations. Each and every single one of them have different transformations. Where the Super Saiyans, their transformations are pretty similar, right? I'm gonna offend people, but it's basic in comparison to some of the transformations that can be done in anime. And I was blown away. So I started watching One Piece as a 14-year-old. And I fell in love with the medium because it's such a cool way to tell a story where you can get ridiculous like that. And it doesn't lose its sense of genuinency, right? Where I feel, the live action adaptations of these shows usually fall short because they try to replicate what the anime was in a traditional format like live action, which is impossible because you are literally working in different worlds. They exist in almost like different spaces, different energies. They occupy different energies in that way. And the way they did One Piece is basically by taking the characters which you really love and can fall in love with and appreciate as their individuals, and they made a proper show with it that is a live action adaptation. The way they did the powers is still pretty well done. It's it's acceptable, right? Like I watched 789 episodes of One Piece. It's not something I'm proud of, right? Like, oh yes, spend your time watching seven. Like I think there's 1,000 right now or something. It's amazing. I love the characters. Again, like I can pretty much watch the show even if there's no fighting. Like my favorite character is Chopper. I mean, it's between Chopper and Roronoa Zoro, but Chopper. I mean, I love Frankie as well. I mean, it's exactly like that level of you just think about the cast and you're like, oh, I love this, and I love this, but for different energies, right? And this also has this energy, and I love that part of it. And they actually captured that part of the show of One Piece in this new live adaptation. So, if you have the time and you want to see something cool, if you haven't watched anime and if you haven't watched One Piece, I'd also actually recommend it. A few of them hang out all day with me and talk to me, but most of them are steadily on a mission, and I seem to be a part of their Burmal route now. Oh, I mean, that sounds actually kind of nice, dude. I'm imagining you building relationships with these creatures as time goes on as well. Duck Dad saying, all I want is for something that I love the most to stop screaming and making every single thing we do a fight all day long. I swear it's PTSD and trauma inducing when it's just love bomb and then scream. I'm feeling my dad's heart as well right now, dude. I love him. I love my mom. I hope this vacation that they're going on is going to be good for them. We'll see. I made this joke in the car on the way here where I'm like, so how are things at home? I'm sure mom and dad are not fighting at all and everything is good. And Basil is like, yeah, of course. They're not fighting about the stupidest things, and every chance they get. No, surely they won't do that. Duck Dad, have you considered eating mushrooms with your wife? That's probably, getting canceled advice, but I seriously cannot imagine anything else at this point, right? Get a place that you can camp, hire a babysitter if you can. If you can't, drive out to one of our friends, right? I don't know who lives closest to you, but have them take care of the little one for the day or for the weekend. Take 6 grams of mushrooms with you. Maybe you should eat four and she should eat two, or three for both of you. And then be in that space, right? Because I feel, and I seriously do, the default mode network likes to be comfortable. And anything that's uncomfortable is outside of that default mode network's frame of reference. And what psychedelics do is they downregulate your default mode network. So, default mode network, a way to understand it, is this part of you that is habitual, right? So, if you're working a 9 to 5 job, your default mode network will start to crystallize this part of you that gets up in the morning, brushes teeth, maybe eats breakfast, gets in your car, drives to your work, works your job, drives back, right? That level of cyclical, I do this, that would be your default mode network. And some people, a lot of people, especially at later ages, that becomes their state of reality. That's who they are to themselves. And anything that falls outside of that frame of reference, anything that's change becomes scary and unfamiliar because it's not that default mode network. And what psychedelics do is your default mode network is also like imagining it like a electron highway, right? It's the pathways through which your brain keeps flowing information, right? It's a familiarity thing. And when you take psychedelics, it downregulates. It stops that pathway flow. But your brain doesn't stop operating. Your conscious experience doesn't go away. It just starts utilizing other parts of your brain. So instead of the change having to happen on the outside for you to find some sort of satisfaction or significance in life, the change can happen inside, right? And it's almost like all of the yogis over all of time have been saying that to us. But psychedelics help us at least peek into that part of ourselves. One of the things that I like to share is that the very first mushroom trip that I had, proper mushroom trip that I had, I was overcome with this deep understanding and feeling that I am grateful to be alive. And it was like, up until that point in my life, I didn't have the framework, the pattern in my brain, the exact informational structure for me to feel that way. And as soon as I did, I knew that I could. And as soon as I knew I couldn't tolerate not feeling that way. And it changed me. It did. It definitely changed me. And that change is scary. Again, from the default mode ego perspective. If I tell you, yeah, do this thing, it will change you, that doesn't sound like a good thing. It's like, oh, Cyclone here. Yay, blessings to you, friend. I'm missing a bunch of comments. Let me see if I can get back to them. Thank you for letting me share in this way though, Brother Bear. Consider it, right? I hear Dr. being like, yeah, bro, like my wife is gonna eat mushrooms. Dude, make it make sense. Oh, whatever you do, try to. Bad news though, y'all. No, the back of the mullet is now officially also for business. Another casualty of inflation. I don't know what that means, dude. The back of the mullet is now officially also for business. Like, like the whole fractal of business up front, party in the back, but the mullet is also now a business mullet. Oh, okay. I think maybe what he's saying is because of inflation, usually people used to have like double lifestyles, right? They would work their job and then they would have the time off. But now they work their job and then they work their side job. Maybe is that am I getting it, Dan? Dan, I have a corner store that sells weed that will knock your socks off. I got my socks knocked off this weekend by the weed that people are smoking out there. I was like, oh, the fuck. This is like I smoked a little bit of weed the Friday, and then I had to give my yoga class, and I was devastated. I was like, bro, what? Why? Why is this happening to me? Then, did you just become a father? Top tier dad joke, man. It's as easy as buying a Slim Jim. You feed the crow Slim Jims. Am I missing context again? Time for some new home rules, Doc. No yelling unless you're a toddler having a tantrum. Yelling at one another. Yelling at one another apparently arises because we want to feel heard, right? That it is again a defense mechanism. Some of us grew up that way, believing that's the way you're supposed to be communicating in that situation. How do we reframe ourselves as adults? In our society? I hope so, in fact. I do hope so. I hope we kind of destigmatize it to our parents as well. They are coming around slowly but surely. But goodness, it takes time. Dan, you're telling me that you've been rocking a mullet this whole time? That's why Mel is awesome dancer because of yoga. You see, not like there's an ego. There's an ego. What's the word I'm looking for? Come on. Conflict of interest happening inside of me. Because I was dancing before yoga, Simon, right? So I don't know if I want to give yoga credit. Yoga, however, has made me exponentially stronger in my dance, where I can move in ways that I've not been able to move when I started dancing. So yeah, there you go. Yeah. The conflict of interest seems to be resolved in my mind. The energy feels balanced. Sam, I'm a childless dad. Probably will be for the rest of my life. Joy rules only matter if there's consequences. Yeah, true. But you're the one paying those consequences because consequences beget consequences in that way, unfortunately. You think so, Simon? He is very bendy. Uh, my yoga. I don't know. Have you, Joe? Are you mulleted up, my friend? That is very true, Doc. Fendi. Are you saying that there are no consequences for her behavior right now, Doc? There's much I don't share in here, but I'm going through it and it's fucking hard. What can we do to help Brett the Bear other than be here for you and have this conversation right now? Let us know if we can do more. I love that chat. It's so active. I can't keep up. You're telling me, Kristen. I'm like pages, like straight up 2 A4 pages behind right now. It makes me so happy that you friends are also stoked to be here. Mm-hmm. Do. Man, I scrolled down the 2 pages and I'm having a hard time finding it again. Duck, it's going to be all right, even if there's yelling sometimes. Brother, it's going to be all right. Thank you, Shell, for echoing that love as well. Not backwards mullet. Not backwards mulleted, not yet. Best advice to increase motivation. Can't include money though. Uh you see, that's a hard one for me to answer, Simon. I listened to this other person talk about that same fractal as well today. PewDiePie, actually. He did a Q&A. It was beautiful. The level of that energy that he's occupying right now is beautiful. And he talks about levels of insanity, right, for motivation. That maybe if you're going to do insane things, you might have to be a little bit insane, right? And that's not trying to discourage you, but motivation is a hard one for me as well because I'm very lazy, Simon, very much so, right? And my dad used to make that something very insulting, right? My laziness was appalling, was disgusting, was unacceptable, was shameful, was something to feel guilty about. All of those energies was projected onto me. And yet that energy, what I would, I would call it efficiency instead of laziness. That efficiency that is a part of my being led me to realizing some things about myself, that I'm not actually lazy, I just want to be efficient, right? So technically I can justify in my mind not exercising because it's not going to be, at least to my egoic self, an efficient use of energy right now. Technically, the exercise will give me energy back, and I know that, but I am not that version of myself right now. I do not occupy that energy, so I can justify not doing it. So for me, motivation became more of a discipline thing than a feeling because I get motivated all the time, right? I have motivations in my mind that arises ideas that I save into my digital brain because I know the level of motivation I have right now to do that thing will fade and I'll even forget. Never mind fading. So if I put it down in digital space and I attach time frames to it, that helps me be motivated, right? And that's free, technically. You can do that with pieces of paper as well. You don't even need a digital device. So that's my best advice to you, Simon. Practice discipline, right? Set yourself a time to do something and then start showing up in a way where you prove to yourself that that is something you can do. PewDiePie also beautifully shared yesterday that instead of, was it him? Tripping out right now. I might be having my lines crossed. Anyway, instead of getting, no, it wasn't him even. It was this movie, The Wonderful Story of Henry Sugar. If you have the time, watch that one as well. Also, brain melting. Instead of getting really good at doing the thing first, right? Like getting like time frames right. For instance, if you want to start working on your creative project, instead of telling yourself, I'm going to work on my creative project 2 hours a day, come what may, right? Sure, you can do that, but that's going to be hard, pretty much so. If you can start every day by just showing up for it, sitting down, occupying that energy of, I want to do this creative thing, I want to learn this skill, I want to read this book, I want to do this thing for myself. And you just get used to that energy of doing that for yourself day by day, and then attaching more discipline, because that's how it happened for me, right? I started doing these streams without without any structure, without any basis in reality. I did it when I felt like it. And doing it like I felt like it kind of allowed me to show myself that this is something that I can do. And as soon as I created a structure in my mind that this is not only something I can do, but this is something that I value in my life, something that I believe will contribute to my life in a positive way. I need to do this like it matters to me, right? Like love is true, like I love it. And then that's when I started in 2021 doing at least an hour a day, right? Showing up every day for that fractal. So, baby steps, Simon, take baby steps, bro. Start teaching yourself that you actually can. That's the best, advice I can give for motivation. It's a whole bunch of burps, dude. I love it, bro. Like I'm trying to imagine 100 crows, and I don't even think my brain is wanting to render that many. Simon, you have to love yourself enough to consider yourself to be worth it enough to do one fucking thing for yourself. Yeah, it's true, Sam. It's true words that you're saying. And we find ourselves in a society where we are being degraded in more ways than one. The best way to have powerless people is to convince them that they're powerless. Right? Think about that. That's the energy that we have to be very aware of. You are not powerless. The best way to make you powerless is to convince you you are powerless. Hmm? Yeah, I agree, Burb. Burb is screaming his little lungs out as well, using his power. I'm pouring tears driving. I'm not even sad per se. I just am so full of anxiety and anger and self loathing. It's bursting out so hard. Cry, Brother Bear. Crying literally releases certain chemicals from your tear glands. So you are expelling emotional energy right now. It's okay. You don't deserve the self loathing, the anger, I understand, and the anxiety can be seen as a deep feeling of aliveness, right? Again, love is true. That the fact that you're feeling these feelings can be considered love as well. It's better than feeling absolutely nothing, right? Being numb, right? Oh, my wife's screaming at me. Oh, my child is upset. Oh, right? That doesn't sound good to me. And I know that that might sometimes be the more attractive choice than just crying. But believe you me, leaning to your feelings is always going to be worth it. That energy is going to be more worth it. That's my best advice. Do one fucking thing and do it for yourself. Do it because you are worth it and keep doing it until you know it's for sure. Then add another fucking thing and another. I love how me and Sam were sharing the same exact advice. So much love to you, Sam. I appreciate that. Dan say, that's not what I meant, Melt. I could take a vacay to a lot of places right now, but I want to be near friends and fam, and I don't want to cut my rent runway short with an expensive plane ticket. I get it. I don't know if it's cheaper to travel by land. I don't know how far away you are. New York to Florida. Hey, Google, how far is New York from Florida? Yeah, that's a while away. That is a while away. I mean, it only takes 444 hours to walk. How many days is that? I promise you, Dan, if you spend the next, you spend the next, let me do this. You spend the next 18 to 19 days walking to Joe Schmo's place. I feel like you'll have like a whole new grasp on reality, dude. You'll probably be so grateful for it. And that's like if you're continually walking. That's also the other thing, right? So it's probably gonna be like 40 days of walking. I was just imagining Dan being like, you know what? We're gonna do it. Missions, step by step. Maybe you can hitchhike as well, right? Every now and then, get yourself a little bit closer. Go on an adventure, bro. You don't need money to do that. Actually, you might just be expected to be a little bit uncomfortable. Simon, I tried to summon you yesterday. You did, Lois. I mentioned to him actually, but counseling is important too. Pull over and take 5 minutes and just breathe. That's the first thing that I was thinking as well, Joe. Self-loathing. You're the best duck that you can be. Exactly. Breathing exercises. Deep in and then another pump. You can even add like a little bit of a hum. Is that a new friend? No, Knai. I'm new. What's this about? This is what I like to call a conscious evolution, right? Other normie people call it live streaming. Consciously evolving. I believe that most of our evolution happened physically over the last, technically we've been, biologically the same for the last 120,000 years. And now we find ourselves in a technological reality where things are changing so fast that we no longer have the luxury of counting on our biology to evolve fast enough to keep up, right? So the next step is you consciously evolving. And we do that here every day. The core of why we want to consciously evolve and almost like our our anchor point is love is true, right? That if we're going to consciously evolve in a direction, love should be our truth, our north. And then we're trying to head towards that with different topics. Today's topic is the understanding that energy cannot be created or destroyed, and that you are energy. You consume energy, you receive the sun's energy on your skin, and all of these things contribute to the energy you then put back into the world. And realizing that that energy does not die, it continues infinitely. It's nice having you here, friend. Thank you for asking. Doug, please drive safe. Absolutely. I don't have kids or a wife or a budding business, but I know the feeling you're having. I'm having it too far. I'm having it too for what it's worth. Thank you, Dan, for making sure to resonate with that. That's good advice, Simon. One day a week volunteering. Yeah. Why not, dude? I feel like just connecting with people right now, right? The perspective we lack being in our own comfortable environments these days is something unparalleled, right? Go out and talk to people, hear about their lives. You'll really quickly realize that you have a lot to be grateful for. My bird have always liked crunchy things. Zoe beelines for the dog food when it's out, but that's too much protein for him. There we go. It's pretty okay for omnivore birds flying in the wild. Okay, thank you for letting us know that, Joe. Now we know, right? Don't feed your parrots dog food, too much protein. I'm always around if you want to bounce a few thoughts or just need to vent, brother. You know how to get a hold of me. Thank you, Joe Schmo, for opening your heart in that way as well. Dr. says, Simon, I'm at a point where everything I try just seems like overwhelming levels of effort. I've been max effort for 5 years. I just don't want to be everything and or anything for a while. Uh, Maybe search your local area if there is something called a float tank, sensory deprivation float tank, Dad. If you need the cash, I'll send it to you. I'm getting paid like tomorrow, like maybe day after tomorrow. So that could be something. If you want to feel like if you don't want to feel like anything for a while, that could be it for you, bro. You literally put yourself in a dark box with very salty water, Epsom salts, so they create a little bit of a different buoyancy. You submerge your ears underneath the water as well, and you have plugs in, of course, completely dark. You get used to the salty smell pretty quickly. And then the water's temperature is very close to your body temperature. So your body eventually creates this like boundary layer of water that is very close to your skin's temperature. And then you completely dissociate, right? You lose all sense of self. You lose the sense of sight. You lose the sense of sound. You lose the sense of your own skin and this layer, this permeability, and you're also floating, so you don't even have that gravity experience of like the earth pushing back against your body. And that space will let you feel a certain way. I don't know what it costs close to you, but it really is a worth it kind of thing, right? Like again, if that's the energy you want, If that's the energy you seek, that's one way to get there. I will increase confidence and look ace on CV day. Nice. Jovan, aren't all birds omnivores? I think all of them can be. I just guess it's a diet thing, right? Like how long have they been in a certain reality? Like for instance, parrots with those scooping beaks, they kind of have those scooping beaks so they can eat like fruits and open like nuts and stuff as well. So those birds with a little bit like longer beaks, those beaks are more developed for like eating insects. So those probably will have a little bit higher protein tolerance. At least that's the way that my mind is trying to reason. Not technically, it doesn't count malt. Technically, it can only be malted barley, wheat, and hops cultured with yeast to be beer. You see, I knew this. You see, that's why I was like, I don't think it's actually beer making. But I'm no purist. I'll drink your pineapple beer. It's nice. It's like sugar water, fermented pineapple flavored sugar water, but it does the job. I'm so sorry your tree got trimmed. I'm so sorry. No, no, it's not my tree, Joy Vive. It's like an iconic tree. I've forgotten the tree's name. Doesn't matter. Tree, right? Just imagine tree dead. Make me sad. Pineapple beer. I've also considered posting my personal projects as job experience on the CV as well. Why not, dude? Just feeling kind of directionless about the hunt. The the more information you add about what you're capable of, the better. Jaju, surprisingly, nope. Finches, canaries, nutchat, nuthatches, too, I think. They're seed eaters. How about that? Keep hunting and play the numbers games, and you'll get there. Absolutely. Like, do I code all the time and apply for a QA dev job? Do I get better odds of sales? Am I on the right track? Am I wasting my time applying for this, working on that, etc.? It's a daily struggle. Then, all I know is I believe in something called inertial magic, right? Inertial magic is, I believe, the only real magic that is technically accessible to us right now, at least in this state of reality. And to me, it means you doing something in a direction, right? It's like a gaining momentum kind of thing. And if you keep switching, it can be difficult to feel not only any clarity in yourself, but it can also be confusing to the universe, right? Because the universe takes time, right? Like we don't realize how fast things happen for us. The fact that you can want a different life and in 10 years radically change your life, that's bonkers, right? Like we find ourselves on an Earth that is 4.5 billion years old. The amount of things that had to happen, the amount of energy exchanged for you to be what you are right now. If it takes 10 years for you to get your dream life, that is instantaneous. That's like in the scale of billions of years. It's so fast, it's inconceivable. And then when we keep changing our trajectory, the universe like starts manifesting a reality for you. And then you're like, oh, now I'm gonna start manifesting this reality. And now the universe has to start, recreating this reality, this energy it was trying to shape for you all over again. And then I'm like, oh, now I'm gonna switch this energy all over again. So yeah, and you can feel that. That's at least that's what I'm reading. That daily struggle. You won't stop struggling unless you choose a direction, right? And then pursue that. That's the problem, Melt. I don't really care what I do for work. I just want to make enough money to stay in New York City and keep this apartment. I get that, bro. I get that. I do. I do. But I don't know if that's going to be indicative of the best life for you, right? Like I think of you as more than that, Dan. Maybe that's just me being a little bit biased. I think of you as my friend, so I like you, right? So like thinking about Dan's potential, having enough money to live in New York apartment doesn't feel like you, right? And maybe you feel that too, dude. So that's where I'm coming from right now, man. You deserve the best life possible. And I believe in living the life that you're supposed to live, you will earn more than enough finances to do those things. Is that Kartha joining us too? Cartha! Hey, friend. Oh my goodness. Oh no. Lost my job, lost my girl, lost my family, lost my dog, my best friend of 14 years. Life is hell. But if you can fight through hell, you will see the heavens. Cartha. Bro, I feel like that's a lot. Of course, I imagine, hopefully at least, it didn't all happen like yesterday or whatever. But I'm proud of you for continuing forward. Thank you for finding yourself in this space. Today's topic is about energy, right? Energy cannot be destroyed or created. And yet, you would probably be like, bullshit, Melt. I no longer have the energy that is my job, or that is my dog, or that is my girlfriend, or that is my friend of 14 years in my life. And yet, here you are, Kartha, right? Like, you still have enough energy to get up, to drink water, to eat food. So now I'm imagining, if that energy wasn't destroyed, what is it being transformed into? Your answer of heaven is a beautiful one to me. Maybe we'll continue seeing the possibilities. Kartha, you were loved, bro. I'm sorry you're going through it as well. Keep showing up with the good energy, man. It is there for you. Dan, if I was you, I'd Google how to fluff up a resume discreetly. You can probably bullshit your way into a decent job, but I'll do a little homework. This is true. I've done that, Joe. Oh, my resume is fluffed, Joe. I've had multiple meetings with career counselors from Tech Bootcamp. My LinkedIn is on point. I make blog posts about my projects every week. Okay. It's just the whole having to live in New York thing, right? So it's like a salary threshold. You're not willing to just make ends meet, are you, Dan? I don't know, at least. By the time I got here yesterday, the stream was over. Yesterday's stream was a little bit short. Sorry, Nancy. Like literally, maybe like 7 minutes or so after I ended the stream, the internet connection was so bad I couldn't even load my YouTube statistics. So yeah, on the road. We're here though. Thank you, Nancy, for joining us today. Today's stream is already a little bit longer since we get to be stable in a space and I don't have to inconvenience anybody around me. By the time I got here, love again, don't squander the resources. Same Sam, me too, do you. Do what you gotta do and say what you gotta say to get that job. Love is true. I stacked the deck in my favor, just have limited experience and the market is bad. Again, then, words have power. I'm just gonna say, right? When you say them as if they are true. Sure, it may be true that the market is bad and that you have limited experience. But it can also be true that you are actively gaining experience despite the market being bad. Exact same understanding, exact same information transferred, but the way we use our words literally shape our reality. People get jobs despite markets being bad, and so can you. I believe in you, bro. Going to lurk mode. Love you, Nancy. You're here with us. We had a shorter stream. Mel was on the road. Watch the replay if you can. It was a fun one. Thank you, Joy. Like your love for that stream also continues to warm my heart. I appreciate the advice. It's not so much my approach that is the struggle. It's dealing with the fear, the uncertainty, the doubt. Yeah, that never goes away, Dan. Never. Billionaires, billionaires have fear, have uncertainty, have doubt, right? Those things are something that we have to deal with in ourselves. No amount of money, no amount of girlfriends, no amount of places to live is going to completely disintegrate all the fear, all the uncertainty, especially not the uncertainty and not the doubt. Only you can, by realizing there is nothing to fear. Love is the truth. Fear, uncertainty, and doubt aren't truths in the way that love is, right? And death is not dangerous kind of vibe, right? There's even love in death. That's the positive way, Dan. Love is true. You would watch Dragon Ball Z with your dad. That's so sweet. Yeah. While it lasted, it was quite a vibe. I think my mom forced me to stop watching Dragon Ball Z when Majin Buu turned a bunch of people into chocolates and ate them. I get it. I kind of get it. That was a little bit traumatizing. Oh, stay focused on the end result and let your experience follow the rhythm. This is the way. I'm doing well. Thank you so much. Love the rest of your birth month. Joy called it Dragon Ball Z. Chat is on fire. So much love is being shared, right, Shell? Joy, I was also pleased that Simon found our Discord because we're wholesome AF and he deserves us. We deserve one another. I'm not gonna lie. 160 days in Zimbabwe sounds pretty fucking sweet at the moment. Yeah, guess what? Guess what, Doug Dad? Guess what, bro? My dad liked it too. Right? And then as a child, you're aware. You're aware of things, but you don't know what you're aware of. And because you're aware of things, but you don't know what you're aware of, and they don't actually create any clarity, you are settled with that uncertainty. Right? So for a long time, I believed that my dad didn't love me because he's working away from home for 160 days at a time sometimes. Right? Yeah. So again, Doc Dad, be careful what you wish for kind of vibe, right? I get it. I get it, but you will get it. If that's what you want, if you want to spend big swaths of time away from your family because it's difficult, you can have that too. That's also an option for you. My nipples hurt. Must have been the yoga. Totally not my hormones. Nope. Yeah. I hate it when my nipples hurt after I yoga. Feels like I didn't ever thought I would say that sentence, but I guess. If you spend that long in Zimbabwe, Duck, maybe you can nail down that squirrely man, Adam. Maybe we should find him. Like the amount of friends I had conversations with him about. Martin and John asked me about him. Party time, mom and dad on going on vacation. Where they're going? They're going to Cape Town. It's mom, dad, sister, and Vessel. It's the whole family. It's kind of weird how that worked out, where I got home, and my first day home, my entire family leaves. Energy. Yeah. Like I got to have the energy of a lot of family, relationships, a lot of conversations, a lot of dynamics, essentially. And now I'm getting to have the exact opposite of that. And I'm here for that energy. We're going to see how that influences me as well. Simon, that's awesome. Love is true. Tied up, deliver. I've tried so hard to get my wife to take mushrooms. Never gonna happen. If anyone needs it, it's her. Yeah. Maybe you should just like unironically duck that with the help of ChatGPT, make like a PowerPoint presentation presentations, right? And then you literally drag her into a room with like a TV or your tablet or your cell phone even, and you go, here's slide one, medical benefits. Slide two, antidepressants. Slide three, cancer patients having improved quality of life and acceptance of death. And slide four, people literally healing spinal cord injuries. Slide, right? And you just go, look at this informations. You cannot deny medicines, right? And then I see how Doug Ted is like, you naive child, you. I'm like, yes, don't think I know anything. No, I'm just very willing to try, right? I've tried. Believe you me, oh, believe. I still try. My dad has shut down the idea of me feeding him mushrooms probably and practically thousands of times. But my persistence is unwavering. I shall keep pushing my spear into the edge of reality. Melt is bang on again with the advice. Simon, actually, I'm a vampire. Oh, 1,000-year-old vampire pretending to be a 25-year-old. I hope so. I hope I actually get access to tech that makes me not age, and then I get to kind of like maintain this illusion that I'm a vampire. Would that be cool? It's like, wait a second, is he a vampire? Am I a vampire? Or am I AI? Right? That's gonna be the running jokes. I ironically think people are going to be like, yeah, this is like the start of like the Chat GPT AI revolution. No way somebody actually shows up every day, right? He's like AI rendered the whole time. Yeah, no. There's a version of me that's tripping out about it. It's like, am I? Is everything I know an illusion? Yes, technically. And yet still there is love as the energy at the base of that reality. Mm-mm-mm. He's going to melt first, then I'll make him take me home to his house where the cats are. Looking for them now. Roxy and Shelby has been cuties. Melt. Ginger is also super happy to see me when I came back. My wife has never spent a single night away from Duckling, and at this time won't. But to be honest with you, a vacation with her sounds like hell. To be honest with you, a vacation with her sounds like hell. That's rough, bro. Yeah, that is pretty rough. And you have a child together, right? Did you hear that sound? I don't know why that took me with so much surprise. I am reaching understanding that I do not have the energy of a relationship counselor. No siree. I've not been in enough relationships, for one. And for two, I don't know if traditional relationships like that. I've never seen a traditional relationship like that without the problems you're talking about, Doug. That. So as I'm at a loss. I'm learning lessons. I'm receiving the energy, but I don't know how to help other than it sounds selfish. Help me, help you by helping me, you helping yourself, and that helps me, us helping each other. I believe in you, Doc Dad. I I don't know you perfectly, but I've seen your heart, at least in part, and you are a beautiful person. Remind yourself of that as well. How are you doing, Mel? I'm doing well, Cyclone. I'm feeling not really tired, but I feel like I'm in that space where I now want to rest, right? Not tired, but like, yes, I'm ready to just be a little bit calm. I have given of myself more in the last week and a bit than I have almost the whole year kind of vibe, right? And I feel ready to rest. I feel in a weird way it also energized me. And again, I'm learning lessons from that, noticing that me giving more of my energy to other people, more of my attention, more of my focus, doesn't leave me feeling like I've lost anything. In fact, I only feel like there is something to gain, when you give yourself like that. I'm trying to quit weed because I smoke too much. But just being in their presence makes me so tense and anxious and miserable to be around. And I should say that I haven't actively stopped weed. I just like to. The smoking is the problem. Well, I guess I vaporize, but edibles just feel really bad. My system doesn't like it. The mechanism of absorption, edibles in your liver like alcohol, true. Technically, it's delta hydroxy 11, right? So it's a more powerful cannabinoid than the ones you can smoke, THCA. Smoking weed doesn't seem like a nice, yeah, it's gonna be pretty brutal. It's more literal than that, Mel. It is literal that the back of the mullet used to be party in the back, but now it's also business, like the front, cost economy. But that's what I said, wasn't it? I think I get it, dude. Have you ever tried high CBD strains, Doug? That could actually help, for your transition as well. I'm coughing and hacking joy. I'm worried about staying alive. It can't be good for my heart or for my lungs. excess of anything will never be. Time to take a break, switch to edibles, maybe. Maybe, that's what you should do then, Duck Dad. If you don't like the edible experience, but you still want to get high, then eat edibles that associate getting high with the bad experience, and that could help. It's like, that's bad advice, Mel. I'm not saying I'm giving good advice. I'm just giving some kind of advice. The advice that will probably melt you more is going to be the advice that I give you. I need to start mushrooms again. No access. So it's going to be time to cultivate. It's not impossible, at least, if you know how to plant plants and you know how to read, you should be able to get the hang of it. Just reduce intake and smoke in the evenings. Yeah, like having like a time frame in which you actually allow yourself to start smoking helps. Robot dance belt. Would love. I don't think I can robot dance. I've tried, but it makes me feel jagged, right? And I dance, at least in my mind, more flowy and stompy, right? Like I'm stomping marshmallows, stepping on those little curvatures. Simon, can be more specific about motivation. Simon, I'm literally in the most stress 16 hours a day. I get what you're saying, but the reaction I'm controlling or attempting to during the day. Yeah, needing to smoke, right? It helping. Doctor, this might not be the answer for you, but I was in deep anxiety. I need to stop smoking weed to bring the anxiety down. That's what I'm imagining as well right now, Dan, but I'm not a medical professional, so I feel a little bit at a loss. It can be a inverse thing, right? Where you might at one point have found benefit of smoking weed because it allows you that state of calm, but then it has the dual cutting sword of just masking the thing causing you anxiety, right? The work hasn't been done. You just kind of bulldozed it into the ground, but it pops back up, as soon as that experience kind of leaves your system. No, I'm lazy. You have no idea, but I think it makes me work smarter at things, not harder. I agree with this, Joyviv. And I don't think it should be something that we demonize each other, for. If you're still trying to contribute to society and you're doing the work that you're setting out to do, having moments where you don't shouldn't be demonized and called bad or you know create a sense of guilt. My brain says no, 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 see, stay in, block out the world. That's the easiest, Simon. That's going to be the easiest thing for you to do, right? I'm not saying that it's going to be easy to go out and have conversations with people. I promise you it's probably going to be one of the most difficult things you'll ever do. But you showing yourself that you can and the lessons you'll learn is going to improve your quality of life exponentially. You're absolutely right, Melt. I don't believe in lazy anymore. A big part of ADHD, which I didn't know I had until last year, can be damned demand avoidance. I can only do things if they're urgent, interesting, challenging, or novel. That feels very familiar, Louisiana. I agree. Personally, quitting weed was phenomenal for me. Life improved immensely. Like weed is a tool, I believe, right? I think of it like a polarity thing as well. Because for a very long time, I was very stuck in my masculine energy, right? And on top of that, angry. And on top of that, self loathing, right? So it was that combination of I am man, I am strong, I hurt others if they try to hurt me, I am angry, I project this anger into the world because that's the emotion I'm supposed to be feeling. And then I hate myself because I'm not as strong as I should be, or I'm not earning as much money, or I'm not as attractive, or et cetera, et cetera. And smoking weed allowed those voices to calm inside of me, right? Where I realized there was this opportunity for me to just be okay with things, to be calm, to be soft. But at this point in my life, I've now realized that even though that energy is useful, it is also useful in getting you to not do the things that are important, right, for your own growth. And I feel it's a balance thing again, right? You don't have to stop smoking weed completely if you don't want to. But if you have found in your life it calling to you, right? A level of awareness needs to be reached, then try it. Like we're gonna do Sober October. Oh my goodness, is it like in is it coming up that fast? I'm tripping out right now. Wait a second. Yeah. So I have like a day left. Tomorrow is gonna be the last day that we partake of any intoxicants. I kind of I kind of forgot about Sober October until in just a second. So maybe join me. Join me for Sober October. We'll still do these streams, kind of show each other that that's possible as well. It really is like a beautiful time every single time. I just stopped I just stopped accepting the influx of the thing that is bothering me. It doesn't always portray an open and loving display. It keeps me sane and it lets me take a few moments to regroup. Also good advice. Gateway, I treat weed as a treat now. There we go. Or, as I like to think of it, something is sparkly, annoying, fascinating, or on fire. That's a quote from an article by Kristen Caven. That's beautiful. Thank you for sharing it with us. We'll try that advice, Mel, as long as I don't miss your stream. I mean, Simon, and this is a part of me that feels a little bit biased. You can use my stream as a call to awareness, right? So maybe you want to start getting good at drawing, right? Put my stream on the side and then practice drawing, right? Then we can do this together. We can kind of like be accountability buddies. You know, that's a word that Lois Anna also taught me. And then we can grow our fractals across the world, you know, together. I always appreciate you friends contributing in this space, but if you need to cook yourself dinner, your family dinner while you listen to this, or go on a walk out in nature while you listen to this talk, I believe all of those will still be extremely valuable to your personal well-being. I try to appreciate your friends and value your friends' time and say the ideal words, right? I do consider words magic, so I try to put the best magic fractals inside of your friends' minds. I don't know that being sober all the time would improve my life. That would just be my raging weed addiction talking. I mean, you can't know until you try, though, right? Join me for Sober October. See how it works for you. I don't really smoke a lot, but now that I can buy weed and a bag of ice and a barbecue chicken at the same time, I'm kind of overindulging lately. Yeah, I'm guessing the bag of ice is just actual water as ice. I'm just imagining, you know, being able to buy weed, crystal meth, and barbecue chicken at the same place. That's just so convenient. Yeah, the convenience thing is that gets us. That's why like vapes are so popular right now. Shan says, I actually read last night that the terpinolene is not good for people with high anxiety. And I had a few strains that were higher in that particular terpene. And since not having strains with it, my anxiety has been way better. Thank you for letting us know that, actually, Shan. Shan has been very mindful of the things she puts inside her body and how they influence her. And the fact that you know that is so cool. Terpinolene. Nice to say as well. Taka used to be coughing like that until I switched to cartridges, but it's spendy. Yeah, like it's something like $50 a pop here in South Africa as well. I used to. No, I think I read one. Shan, my dispo keeps showing me Citradelic sunset cards now. Now you're like, you want this? You searched this once and now we want to sell it to you forever? Simon, I discovered something recently that has helped me so much. I was reading about the concept of body doubling, which is something that I'd always referred to as an accountability body. Yow! I love how me and Louisiana came to that same point in this stream. Yeah, yeah. Thank you, Louisiana, for sharing your wisdom with us as well. Sam, are you serious? That's how I've been able to make it to every yoga class since March. She has, despite her knee injury, despite, you know, her back hurting, Louisiana has shown up with the yoga. Shelly, all I ever smoked is cartridges and I have high quality. But when you hit that vape pen 5 times every hour, because it's so damn convenient. Yeah. Like hitting the vape pen once is like smoking half a joint in comparison to smoking an actual joint. They look good too, Shanna. So interesting. I wonder if that was my problem. It might be. I wouldn't be surprised, right? Like the amount of things that we're finding out about ourselves still to this day baffles me. I need to go, guys. But just, I need to go, guys. But just you even saying you care and you wish you could help is more than I ever get in my own life. Deepest thank yous. We love you, Duck Dad. You deserve better, Brother Bear. And I'm sure things will get better in time as well. Thank you for staying so conscious and present. I use mushrooms to help cure my rage and PTSD and CPTSD. It worked. It's been a couple of months since I took because I never used recreationally and now would be literally just for fun. Like it's interesting how that works, right? Like I feel mushrooms, they are anti-addictive. For one, they have like defense mechanisms. So as soon as your bonds, your brain bonds with that molecule, it kind of like has like a protective barrier, so it doesn't receive more of it. To make it more simple, if I eat 2 grams of mushrooms today and I eat 2 grams of mushrooms tomorrow, tomorrow's experience will be significantly reduced to the day before. And if I try again 2 grams the day after that, even less so, right? So it has that anti-addictive property. You cannot abuse the drug like you can do with like caffeine or sugar or cocaine or methamphetamine or heroin. That stuff keeps kicking your ass every single time you take it. Sure, you have to up your dosage, but not as much with mushrooms. Like you'll literally have to eat more than your body weight of mushrooms at the end of the month if you try to do it every day. That's the one thing why it's not addictive. And then the other thing is it's psychological, right? Like the amount of volume of information you get is so much that you are satisfied, right, informationally afterwards for a while, where you don't need to have that experience again because you got to, right? And once we heal ourselves in that ways, it's more about like maintenance than it is about any active work, right? Like you built the house, now you just have to like patch up the cracks every now and then. You don't have to build the house all over again, but we have to build the house eventually. Diamond sauce, I think, is what it was said. Hi again. No, Snai. Not Knockney, maybe is the way I should say it. Knockney. So I was thinking, how can I arrange that the body doubling in other areas of my life where I need to get shit done and I just can't? AI is probably gonna help for that eventually, Lozana. That's my mind, trying to think about the distribution network. Hi, Knockney. We're talking about fighting all the ways that figuring out all the ways that love is true. That's so beautiful, Shell. We're about figuring out all the ways that love is true. I love this space, and we love you, Joe Schmo. Knockney, so much love. Conscious reflection. All of you friends. No, not bad guy. Energy eventually gets finished. I mean, does it? Does it get finished? Right? Like we do already have renewable energies right now. And I hear him, Mel, the sun is going to explode eventually. Yeah, true. But there's still going to be other things containing energy. Black holes give out Hawking radiation, a form of energy that we can technically utilize if we have the technology to. Right? So, yes, technically, in this finite universe, energy gets spent, but there is levels of energy that we cannot even perceive of. So if we cannot even see it, how can we finish it, right? That's the whole doom plot, where there's energies accessible in this universe outside of our reality, right? Even more so, there are layers of energy that keeps going. We have so many new friends joining. I see Durbin. Is this new age? I guess so. Yeah, you probably say that. I don't like labeling myself, but new age is one of the things that my dad likes to call me as well. Yeah, you new age peoples. I'm like, dude, I'm not trying to new age. We live in a new age, dude. Like, we live in a world where we now have access to each other over the internet practically instantaneously. That is, of course, going to radically change the way we see humanity and ourselves in it. right? Like it's the new age is upon us. It's not something that we're trying to force. It's where we are. It's not. I'm super behind in chat. Me too, Shovan. But it's helpful to any of you. My sissy sent me the productivity app called Finch. There we go. Some software that could help as well. I think it's a new buzzword, Shan. New age? Energy never dies. Not bad guy. I don't know. Chair yoga, no knees. Exactly. It works. Yo, you set goals, and every time you complete them, your burp grows. That's so cute. And also, it has things like guided meditations, chair yoga, and breathing exercises. It's basically a self bettering game. I like it. Finch, I need to go and get that one as well. That sounds super cute. That sounds amazing. Your energy is outstanding. Thank you, Nakni. I have been cultivating for a while, right? You friends are literally a part of me. Don't make it weird. Like I believe that I am Melt and you friends are more. And on a very literal level, you friends have consciously evolved alongside me. I'm downloading Finch right now. Self-care pet. So it's you self-caring for a pet, self-caring for yourself as your pet. I've joked about this as well a few times that you are like your own pet. You have to groom yourself. You have to take yourself on walksies. You have to feed yourself and wash yourself. You are your own pet, technically. Thank you, Show, for sharing that resource with us. Like it was custom made for this community. I'm feeling that as well, Joshmo. I love that, Jovan. Gamifying your chores, literally. Joy Vive, I'm a better gal. I'm a bigger gal who does yoga. And in the beginning, my knees fucking killed me. If you're still willing to try, there are a lot of accommodations you can make for yourself on the mat. Maybe just getting a blanket could be like the biggest first step, like rolling a blanket up and having it where your knees are going to be down. There's no shame in that, and that's a good place to start as well. Love again to you, Durban. I was totally gonna message Melton, make him give me accommodations. Yeah, so that's one for you. You can maybe like get a bolster as well. There are gonna be you're gonna have to buy one, but the cheapest and readily available option is going to be just taking a blanket, folding it like that deep, onto itself. One love to you, Gary Lee. Thank you for blessing me with the 555 energy. Today's whole streaming is about energy. Uh, Gary actually sent me a podcast by Lex and Mark Zuckerberg again. And I saw on Reddit, on like Singularity, one of the people posting about it, in the comments, people being like, and then Gary Lee sent it to me as well. So I'm looking forward to watching that one. We're talking about energy, bro. The amount of energy we are capable of receiving right now through these mediums, and how, like, technically, I'm thinking about this right now. If I had one of you friends, just one of you, across from me, and me trying to share this energy with you, there would be an energy exchange. But now, because of the internet, I get to technically duplicate my consciousness into multiple different homes, onto multiple different devices, and that energy gets to be amplified in a way that we've never had access to before. And thinking about where the eventuality of that is going to go. I do not even know. We have the Daily Gamer here as well. So many new friends sending you blessings too. Let me see how many comments I'm missing. Yossi, like a lot. Okay, there we go. Yossi, like I feel like I'm so far lost. We'll read from here. Nah, it's not New York, Mount. It's housing in general. Average rent in the US for a one-bedroom apartment is $1,700 right now. I'm paying $2,000 for a two-bedroom apartment. That's actually pretty spacious. It's dumb cheap. I get it, dude. I get it. I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with that. I just, want you to have higher ideals than just survival, right? And I know that that's not, possible, or you don't have that option right now. Unfortunately, now every single time I get a new message, it seems to be skipping down. Okay, I'm holding on to it. Dan Cartha, that's a lot, but I love your outlook on it. I'm sure this experience is only making you stronger, though. So much love to you, friend. I feel like while I'm going through all of this loss, I have to be preparing. it has to be preparing me for some gain, for gain of some kind. I was going through the same, idea. You probably heard that. For without loss, there is no gain. The energy needed to be shifted, apparently, and shifted it has. It has not left me. Yes, thank you, Shanna. Thank you, Kartha, for sharing with us. That's true, cathartic. Sometimes there's no way but up. We will inevitably learn from these hardships. Absolutely. What do you do for a living, Melt? Just curious. Knockney, this, technically, this is like the part of what I do for a living that earns me the least cash. I also do Patreon, where some of the friends that support us here also support me there. That, helps me make a little bit of a living. And then I also give yoga classes, which also helps me make a little bit of living. The Patreon, I make works of art and I write poetry. So I'm a I'm a content creator for a living. I create content. Hopefully, I can inspire. Hopefully, I can create more beauty in this world, share things that convey positive energy onto the person that's willing to give me their attention and focus. So yeah, that's my thing. Thank you for asking, Knockney. Be better prepared for the next hiccup. Cathartic, I guarantee. Life runs its cycles and waves. We ebb and flow. Fear, uncertainty, doubt certainly fluctuates, Melt. I would hard disagree. I was much less fearful and uncertain when I was employed, law. I get it, bro, but things are gonna change, dude. Right? Like, especially in the age we find ourselves in right now. No matter what you do, no matter how you get employed, within the next 20 years, AI is gonna come for your job again, bro. Right? So again, that's not going to go away. You need to learn how to be okay despite the change. That's the conscious evolution I'm trying to work through with you right now, Dan. Correct, especially addiction. Sit in your higher consciousness when the world starts to confuse you. Allow yourself to be quiet. Rise above the fog. Shantime 11:11. It's 42 for me right now. I'm like 30 minutes behind chat. Hot damn, Melty. The beautiful part of being alone is this kind of exactly what you wanted when you got back. Sharing experiences and stories and thoughts are your passions with people that want to hear it. I tried to. I tried to share my stories with my family yesterday. And it felt like I didn't exist, Joe Schmo. Where I was like genuinely enthusiastically trying to tell my family about the stories. And my mom would just like interrupt the conversation and ask my dad something in the middle of the story 3 times in one story. And then when my dad went to the table, the third time, I was like, love you. And then I left. Right? I didn't complain. I didn't say something about it. I just said, love you. And then I left. So yeah, it is the way that it is. My family doesn't have to appreciate my stories, at least. It's strangely fitting when you think about it. I I did energy, right? It's the energy that I apparently needed. I like the sticks too. My sticky. I do enjoy the stick. It's Melita the stick, right? It's a magical item in my mind. It's coated in beeswax that I melted into its grooves with a flame, right? It does feel like a wand as well. It has like this little I bless you with eternal abundance, ceaseless love, and reoccurring peace. Get blessed. Sit in your unconscious love again. Energy vampire. Get him! He's taking our good vibes and profiting. Yeah. I'm earning so much cash, living with my parents, don't have a car. Yeah, energy vampire. I'll earn more cash. Don't you worry. Don't you worry, Kartha. I'll figure out a way. The next way is gonna be by basically just offering my flesh, being willing to carry equipment, right? Being willing to set up equipment, being willing to run the equipment. I'll figure a way out, to make more money. But we're not stopping, the things that we showed up for. No, now that's my landlord. Is mostly moved out here, even less than he already was. and I'm alone out here. I've been singing at the top of my lungs, and I thoroughly love it. I liked how, that conversation could have gone any way. Could have gone in like a level of fear. Now that he's away, I'm like scared more. And then seeing the singing at the top of your lungs instantly made me so happy, Shan. That's why I'm only here when the melting masses call to me. You're always welcome in this space, Kartha. We're no more than a thought away, dude. And we do it every day, right? You come home fully charged. They are giving you the freedom to express that energy. I feel it as well. It's gonna be, you know, something good for me as well. I don't mind being alone at least, right? I find myself pretty adaptable no matter what. I love that Shan. Do you know if he's actively thinking about selling the place? He is apparently, but I'm already thinking about us as a community coming together and buying the place or something. How far is Cape Town? 17 hours drive. Yeah, it's a while. Just start to think maybe everyone would appreciate a little bit if I wasn't here getting flogged every day. I think we would. I would be grateful if they stopped beating you. I want to recommend a book to you, but again, I don't know if that's, the best thing I could do. If you have the time, I think it should be on YouTube, Duck Dad. Go and listen to The Way of the Superior Man by David Data. It's not a misogynistics book, Sure, the title might be a little bit polarizing, but it can provide value to either, orientation, either polarity that you identify with. Ugh. We have 15 friends watching, 5 updates, and a triple five from Gary Lee's donation just to share more synchrony. And it's 47 on the timestamp right now, 1747. Ain't gonna go nowhere. Nope. We're gonna be here with you, Brother Bear. We love you continually and unconditionally, Duck. We want you to be sad when you're sad, angry when you're angry, but not what you're not, Duck Dad. He wasn't exactly, he hasn't exactly said it, Louisiana, but I'm 99% positive he would sell if someone wanted it. It doesn't, he doesn't want to deal with the things that the house needs. Yeah. Game over. Will never come. For we just move on to the next start screen. When one chapter closes, another opens. Same can be said for life itself. The energy behind our life force shall never perish. Yeah, the Daily Gamer. I do believe that, dude. I really do believe that. Thank you for echoing so beautifully as well. I love you, Dad. I look forward to the next X, to being the next Xmas. There you go, dude. You already have a one lined up. X because I really enjoy being single. Daily Gamer. How was that was that a flirt? I think so, Simon. Duck is getting hit up. Meld, I don't think you're naive at all. I love your soul, as I love yours with the bear. I just wish I could do more. Have you seen Duck? Who wouldn't flirt? There we go. Joy is a total flirt. She's just picky. How big is the house, Joe? Can we just do the fun parts in the beginning before we start hating on each other? Like I feel like it's the whole familiarity breeds contempt. Some people believe, but I feel it's more just a lack of proper communication and letting things seethe, right? Shad, I missed your message about checking my resume. That would be greatly appreciated. I'm taking any help I can get. What's your Discord? Please do send him a message. Poopsie the Moopsie, or Poopsie1808 is probably his Discord name. I'm awestruck at the last comment. Thank you kindly. Your love, Duck. Nuclear carp. You said you had a big place, but I thought you lived in a decent chunk of land too. I mean, there is a decent chunk of land attached to it. I don't know how decent, right? From the bits that I've seen, Shanna has showed us. There we go, 30 acres, most of it being woods. Yeah, that's a lot. Oh dang, sounds like heaven. Are you struggling? That Shan go full woodland job. Hard to remember. I found it in the sewer, just message ya. Joy, I've learned how to fix a broken Excel formula. So if you can make a formula in Excel and it shows you the formula, drop me a line. I think Shannon already has one foot in the pond, But it comes to woodland evolution, medicine mama that lives amongst the trees. I see that my suggestions have now weight here. Lol. Of course, I only have moderate Excel skills, so I appreciate that, Shell. No way. Shit. I don't know. I can do sober October Lamar. Yeah, it is hard, Cartha. It is hard, but more often than not, it is worth it. I'm trying. I'm trying very hard to win the lottery so I can buy your place. My little fam and I would have the one part as a summer home and maybe keep it as a winter cross country ski resort and lower your rent. So much love. If not, why not? Louisiana, I feel like we're already showing up in that way in so many fractals. Correction, you're gonna do Sober October. We, me and we're gonna. I'm doing Sober October. Yeah, Jovan doing Sober October. Joe as well with me. See, we'll try Sober October. Simon joining too. So much lovin's. Little cleansing never hurts. Exactly. Right? Like the novelty of just being sober is just as beautiful as the novelty of smoking a joint. I think you were drinking a Belgian beer when we first met you. 4 days sober here, Rabbit. There we go. Excellent. I grew up playing in the woods, Joe. I love it so much. Every single day away from that thing that makes you feel less like you is a good day to be a new you. So many yes. Bang on, Joe. So much love is being sent. I'm a forest kid. I'm going to go and play some games with a homie, so I can't stay. But you have my struggles and my answers. But you have my struggles and my answers to them here in chat. Hope somebody is going through it and can see when they need it. You were loved. Dear friend Kartha, thank you for contributing to this fractal alongside us. Catch frogs, smell flowers, climb trees, and lay in the grass. These are the things that remind me why I am alive. So cheap as well, right? Free, technically. But you have to allow yourself that. Self elect. I hate that. I'm expected to be strong and take charge as a man, but very much adjust myself to be the feminine of my family when it's needed, to raise my daughter and then get completely shit on when my man energy happens. Never gets a thank you for being totally against the grain of my biology. Yeah, parenting is a thankless job. I've heard a lot of people say mushrooms are almost anti addictive. I've said that to people as well, right? If I've had like a hectic mushroom trip, like I don't want to eat mushrooms for like 2 months. 2 months, I'm like, hold the mushrooms, please. I don't need any more right now. Energy happens, never gets love again to you. So much to you, Kartha. So much love to you, Kartha. It's so nice to see you here again, friend. Thank you, Shan, for echoing that love as well. Then I sit and lick my wounds alone because I'm too aggressive verbally and patiently. Butters taught me accountability. I'm missing the last context of that, but I'm proud of you, brother Duck Dad, for continuing forward. Duck Dad, the man, is what keeps them feeling safe enough to express themselves. They want the man, but they also want a teddy bear. Yeah, the duality, right? It's a delicate dance from what I hear. I used to love catching crayfish in the creek, Joe. Those little water cockroaches, basically. I would build your treehouse like you wouldn't believe. Finch is so much fun, but it didn't help me with tasks as much as I wanted. I mean, it's a matter of how much we put in as well, right? Like it's not gonna be a be all end all. Maybe like there'll be better, pieces of software coming out as we continue forward. On the menu, table for one. That sounds nice, Simon. My friend has been an SDR for a tech company called Bright Cove. They're about to be hiring some SDRs, and my friend's manager is interested in me. There we go, Dan. That sounds like an opportunity. My friend Zach told me his manager said he's always preferred to hire someone on a referral. That is the easiest way, right? Otherwise, you're like taking shots in the dark, technically. Get that money. Love, love is true. Networking, absolutely. Brightcove is a big company too. They provide video streaming services to all the huge platforms other than YouTube. It's also going to be a good one to be in. The skills you'll learn there. Wildly overestimated, man. AI is wildly overestimated, man. So then, I unironically do believe that's a naive take, unfortunately, right? From the same perspective, like people used to say computers are overrated, right? It's the next evolution of our computers, AI. It's not overrated. It's going to be the next step in our interfacing with it. We got to use AI, not depend on it. This I do believe with as well, right? Like Asimov's three rules. It would be nice if we can get it to be that way. I can throw down in the kitchen too. Indeed, Cyclone. I dislike cooking, Joe. Really? I know how, and I've been cooking almost daily because I quit the food apps to save my health and money. The Skynet fractal, I see Cyclone. I love to cook. I just do sous chef. In feeding the melt fam, Joe, 100%. Why not, dude? I can actually see you as a sous. Have you seen the bear? I saw kind of like your fractal in the bear, the show as well, Dan. Swampy, I think I need to make my grandmother's beef stew today. I miss her so much, and that meal would hit the spot. Stew meat here is crazy expensive right now. What cut do you use? Thank you, Duck Dad, for being willing to show off yourself like that. Oh, I'm giving little Peppy some stretches. She's eating her feet. All right. I'm gonna go eat my cards quickly. They're still in my bag. I feel like I'm still missing some comments. Hey, the Daily Gamer is still here. So cool seeing you, friend. Like your wisdom is still echoing in my mind. The game we play over and over and over and over and over again. Can of milk, packet of gravy, half-pound hamburger meat, 1 can corn, instant mashed potatoes, and a stick of butter. You're welcome. That does sound kind of like a vibe, dude. Duck, my mom's recipe is truly idiot proof. Ground beef, cream of mushroom soup, a couple of cans of corn, and a layer of mashed potatoes, top of cheese. It's in oven until gravy lava breaks the surface. Like, of course, I'm not surprised that we find ourselves, talking about food and stream. It does tend to happen that way, right? Like, we exhaust ourselves with all of the conscious evolution things. And then after we've done all of this integrating work, our brains go, food. I need to eat something so I can feel grounded again, right? That is in part why we eat, right? Meat, for example, or like red foods are kind of like very grounding in their nature as well. So much love. Okay, I'm gonna go get my cards. I'll be back in a second. I think the sun is already set. Hot diggity damn. Still gonna be pretty at least. Be back in a second. I said, ooby doo. I wanna be like you. I wanna walk like you. Talk like you, it's true. Oh, ooby doo. I wanna be like you. I wanna walk like you. Talk like you, it's true. Let's go. The grocery store is moving shit around and getting rid of some things apparently. I'm intensely uncomfortable. They have much left craft beer now, assholes. Let me grab beer. Oh goodness, did someone need Excel formula help? Hit me up in general if so. I know I'm way behind and all distracted. I thought it was you who were talking about Excel. I'm also pretty lost. Excel is definitely not my forte. Maybe it makes my cards a little bit today. Papriki, paprika, turkeys. Okay, I'm mixing some cards, Pipsies. But I think what pisses me off the most is the water beer taking up the space in the fridge. Move that shit over to where the glass bottle water is and leave the fridge for the real beer. Sam the traditionalist. Right? Don't at me with that sissy beer of yours. Right? Watered down ass, low flavor ass. Disgusting. Earworm for the day. I want to talk like you, it's true. That song is probably the one that I've just like randomly started singing more than any other song, dude. Sounds like Mel says, woof turkeys. Woof turkeys? Woof turkeys. Ah, yeah. Woof. So, technically, we call dogs honde, maar dan kan jij klein maak. You can make it small. Then you say hoinky. So a hond would be like the rough. This is a hond. That's a dog, right? And then we have this is a hoinky. That would be like it's a doggy, right? And then we can do that key. Pretty much that key is like making something small. And then I say woofter, like barking, woof, 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 woof. And then turkeys, woof turkeys. So this is my woof turkeys. Yeah, my woof turkey, woofter. Ja, je bent maar, je mas. Je bent brakkie, brakkie. Ah, je bent brakker, brakker. Ja, je brakkertjes. She's like, oh yeah, why you stop? Why'd you stop, dude? You really you like stank. I don't know what you're rolling in, but goodness me, it's definitely not pleasant. Kristen, I was saying about Excel that if anyone has a formula that only shows up as a formula, I can teach how to fix that. Ah. So you might be getting some help actually, Kristen. Cream and yellow and white, shells or swoops. Let's see. Let's see if we get anything like that. I'm gonna look for yours. Cream and yellow and white. This one? No. But still, this is a special card to me. We pulled card number 32. There are some swoops though. Technically, there is that spiraling shell in the middle. This is one of my favorite cards in the deck. It's about the energy that is our DNA. Oh, that's. I don't like my hands stinking. Like, I like to give Pippi pets, but if my hands smell like that after touching her, that's not okay. I'm gonna go wash my hands quickly because I'm having a hard time. Like, part of me doesn't want my hand to be attached to myself. Let me give you some lovin's now. I'm gonna have to shower you, you stinker. You stinky stinker. You stinky stink so much, you stinkies. You stinker stinkies. You stinker stink. Card number 42. Rainbow DNA. Oh goodness. A spider came out of the hole with the water. And I unfortunately squeezed in between my palms as I was rubbing them together. Ayo, Stoterkio. You stink, you silly thing. All right, let's put on this light. Oh, there we go. Rainbow DNA. Card number 42. Cats are self-cleaning, that's all, that's true. 42. Knockney joining us today. I felt like I really did good to explain what it is we try to do in this space. And of course, the core meaning of today's card is conscious evolution. Yow. Hot damn. Wrong colors. It was fine, dude. Can't win them all. I appreciate you trying, man. I think I maybe messed it up by trying too hard. I wanted to find your card instead of just letting myself flow and then let myself pick the card. It was like a different energy that I applied. But I'm happy with the card I pulled anyway. Stanky puppy needs dish soap and salt water, probably. There was a massive spider distracting me this morning when I rolled out my yoga mat in the dining room. I tried to rehome it outside, but it didn't cooperate. It was like, this thing is trying to eat me. Spiders have been bothering me a lot lately. How about that? More spider fractals. Melt, I love that song. Yes, I love you. Okay, conscious evolution. Look at that DNA helix. So much information, so much energy. Human DNA uses the phi ratio to form the wave that spins our genetic codes. Scientists seeking to unravel the mystery of these codes observe a mass of unexpressed DNA within the traditional double helix, labeled by some as junk DNA. This additional information epitomizes our highest potential as yet unexpressed. In most humans, only about 3% of this code is currently switched on. By activating these dormant genes, we find the gateway to an infinite source of evolutionary wisdom. Decoding and activating this full spectrum of insight and understanding creates a window of possibilities that correspond to the emerging field of conscious evolution. Part of that process is learning the dynamics through which evolution does its transformational work. Through exploration of those dynamics, we can intentionally and wisely apply them to transform ourselves and our world. Visualize yourself spinning within this beautiful rainbow DNA, activating your potential. Draw upon the potent emotions of love and compassion to stimulate the harmonics of your heart and speed your pace of evolution. Each time you act from your heart, you contribute to the intentional conscious evolution of humankind and the healing of Mother Earth. Yeah. That is exactly what I needed to hear as well. I appreciate you friends joining me for today's stream. Spiders have been bothering me a lot. Joy. If you put a spider on the front door, it will come back in. They see very well and have memories, and they get homesick. You may need to use the toilet. It's fine. There's more spiders in the atmosphere than airplanes. Also true. The amount of biomass. This was an outdoor spider by the look of it. It didn't look like a normal house spider. I would have smashed it, but I didn't want to deal with the mess. Spiders down the toilet. Simons, I have a pet spider named Alexandria. She's a Phidippus regius. Phidippus regius. I don't know that spider, but it sounds so cool. Harmonics of the heart, frequencies, energies, right? Your remedies dropping onto my heart slowly but surely. Melty, I'm happy to see you in full effect today, brother. Thank you for these moments and being the usher for these congregations. So much love. So much love to you, bro. I feel a little bit less insecure. I came back having left some insecurity behind this weekend, and it's been heartening to know that it's still possible for me to learn even deeper levels of self-love. You are echoing that self-love right back to me just continues to help. Thank you for your continued support. Are you streaming tomorrow, Captain? Me? No. No, Simon. I'm not streaming tomorrow, dude. You know, I did like 1,002 days, and now I'm like, oh, now I'm gonna stop. Of course, I'm I'm never stopping, dude. The only way I'm stopping streaming is if I die. That's the only way that I'm stopping, right? And I'll even stream like maybe in like 10,000 years. I'm finally, ready to die. I'll like fly into a sun or something, or worst case scenario, we don't actually develop the tech to increase human life. Maybe I'll live to like 137 or something, and then I'll even stream me myself on my deathbed, breathing my last breaths, dude. But I'm not stopping ever. Love is true for always. So I'm showing up for that. Are we kalimbaing today? I left my kalimba actually. Do you want some kalimba? Okay, I'll go get some kalimba. Fuzzy spider. Let me go and get my kalimba quickly. Get my plockies. Uh, I do think I know where it is. Okay, wait the kalimba, puppy. She looks so stoked to be walking with me. Oh goodness. My shoe. Can you like attention? I like attention. When you know exactly where something is and you walk there and somebody moved it. Pepperidge Farm remembers. Peppy, how do you have like this big bank of insanity always stored up? Always. Crazy, crazy. I'm a crazy, crazy Peppy. You ask if I want kalimba, melt you were saying. That's why I was like assuming basically. Reading minds that I know the answer already. Asking questions that I already know the answer to. Poor question, lol, stay safe. I'm joking with you as well, Simon. I'm never stopping, bro. That's the commitment that I made. I don't know if I'll always do like super long streams, but I'll show up every single day, bro. That you can count on. That is the promise that I made you, friends, from a place of love. So it shall be, right? A commitment is the deliberate decision that something will be so. And I have made a commitment to you. So it shall be so. I'm gonna quickly up the gain of this little microphone so we can hear the kalimba nice and clear. Let me go to transmitter gain. And I'll put a little up. There we go. I love you, friends. Don't worry about that. But have so much expectations, appreciation for all of y'all's and what you bring to the table. You all share about your loving selves and all of the inspiration you emit. I love y'all bigs. We love you too, dear y'all. I'll shout you another coffee tomorrow. Thank you, Simon. Simon did actually buy me a coffee on Buy Me a Coffee. I think it's called Buy Me a Coffee, right? Something like that. I appreciate it, Brother Bear. Thank you for being willing to support my journey as well. For buying me coffees, dude. Feeding my soul. Jovan, you're an absolute gem, and I'm grateful for all the moments that you choose to share with us. Love is true. I'm gonna have to shift my eating schedule to accommodate yoga since I'm up earlier now and I'm hungrier earlier. One of the things that you could potentially do, Joy Vive, is considering some intermittent fasting. So maybe like having all of your meals before 1 p.m. and then waiting only until the next day. Like that has helped me a lot personally. Don't let anyone ever say we're not friends IRL. We are. Some of us only meet here. Some of us get to meet IRL. Kate and Tate Taylor from Arpan Days, actually met yesterday. So, yes, exactly, Shell. Bananas and yogas, 2 time. Stay cool, guys. Love is true. Tate is visiting Kate. There we go. Me and Shell knows that fractal. Yeah, exactly. Wonderfully said. I do intermittent. There we go. Fantastic, Joy. It's okay to kind of like adjust that fractal. It's gonna be good for us. Let's play some kalimba, shall we? I'll do 3 minutes and 33 seconds. We'll have that as our perspective. Higher up. Yeah, yeah. Next nicer. And just like that, we did another live stream. we consciously evolved alongside one another. We showed up and made a difference. You made a difference, right? Even if you didn't say anything, your experience is now different than it was at the start of the stream. So you made a difference, dear friend. You get to believe. I eat from 11 to 8, but I'm going to make it 10 to 7 now, which will be an adjustment. 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. I'm guessing with your, uh, insulin and the diabetic nature of how you're supposed to keep your levels a little bit stationary, probably plays a role as well. Timed eating schedules definitely help with idle calories. This is true. Very true, Joshua. Jovan, me too. I've been all over the place, laptop, phone, now downstairs on the desktop, trying to keep up with chat. Holy smokes. Indeed, they do pay so much more attention now that I have a calorie count and eating window. Multi-jamming today. Feeling into it, Brother Bear. The sky is so beautiful. Even when I can't be involved, it brings me so much joy to see y'all's togetherness, our togetherness. So blessed. So blessed to have you as a part of this togetherness, dear friend. All right, every single one of you add an energy of beauty that is unparalleled. Alexandria is eating her breakfast now, a small cricket. That's so cute. The sky is so pretty tonight. Again, so much energy. You're literally seeing latent energy. The sun is setting, right? My day is over, and yet the energy remains. Thank you, everyone, for being here now. Remember your feet. Keep them on the ground. Go and ground yourself a little bit today, maybe. It's good for you, I promise. It's good for you to ground. Put your bare feet on the sand, on the dirt, on the grass. Ground yourself. Remember your feet. Talk more about body doubling and accountability buddies and flow club tomorrow. The chat was so chaotic today. You did more than enough. We love you, Novazana. Thank you for contributing the way that you do always. You're always in the space with us, divine precious friends. There we go. Our Shan message is ready. Let's go. Have the most beautifulest day, everyone. I, for show, love you all so. Very superest, the duperest, hugely, humongously, massively, exponentially, enormously, considerably, cosmically dearly, beloved, charmingly compassionate melt. And all of you, oh so very absolutely, astoundingly dynamically, fabulously fascinatingly, exuberantly enchantingly, outstandingly gorgeously, brightly luminously, magically magical, divine precious friends with energy that will never die. As we love you, dear Shan, thank you for being so. I want to read that exact one you sent me. So compassionate. Now, wait a second. So charmingly compassionate. Shan, I love that. Instant flattery. We were catching up on our general chitty chatty nature since Melt is now back at home. Exactly. Yeah, the energy is a little bit different when I have other people around me because I try to give them the same level of attention I try to give you, friends, of your comments. But then it just changes things, right? And we got to have this again. We got to share this moment and consciously evolve alongside one another. Thanks for bringing your beautiful self to yoga today, Joy V. Yeah, we're proud of you, dear friend. Thank you for embracing this self-caretaking energy. I love you so dearly, and I'll see you again soon, tomorrow. Love you, and I'll send you blessings